Hello, Jesse Film here. I just got back from Joker 2, which is a title I can't even pronounce. It's not actually called Joker 2, but it's a sequel to the 2019 film Joker, also directed by Todd Phillips. This comes off as one of the most pointless sequels, and not in people could even say Toy Story 2, one of my favorite movies of all time, is a pointless sequel, but it doesn't do anything interesting. Like, this film barely furthers its characters, and the new characters that it introduces, it barely develops them. This time, it's not just a drama. Part of it's a courtroom drama and a musical. But the film will just randomly burst into song, and just about every one of these musical sequences is not fun to look at. It's not interesting to look at. It's not done in a very purposeful way beyond the obvious things that they're representing in the musical, where it's like, oh, they're doing this, that it's an escape from reality. Okay, even the first film had some of that. Not exactly musical sequences, though. I do like some of the licensed music that it does use, but the score is not very interesting, and Joaquin Phoenix is not a good singer, and a lot of this is Joaquin Phoenix singing, so it's just kind of irritating to hear. Of course, Lady Gaga is a good singer, and she is now playing Harley Quinn, which is kind of crazy, and her Harley Quinn could be an interesting character, but like I said earlier, they underdevelop its new characters. Brendan Gleeson, one of my favorite actors of all time, his character could be interesting, and he has a great performance, but we barely get development for him, too. Now, I will say, shout out to, I think it's Lee Gill, who is a supporting cast, and his scene really worked, so I did like that. Another thing is, this has an interesting intro, and why I like what they did with the intro, it's another part that just kind of reiterates the first film. So much of this film is just combing through the first film, experiencing a lot of what the first film did before through a court. And it's like, if I wanted to see the first film, I'd watch the first film, you know? I was also growing so tired of the limited locations this uses. It's okay to use limited locations, but this does not shoot them in a very interesting way. It's pretty blandly shot for the most part. There is one sequence towards the end that is actually a really good oneer. I was like, what is this long take that's very well coordinated? Doesn't really have any seams where you could see, oh yeah, this is where they cut. No, it's very impressive. And it just felt out of place in a way that I wish the rest of the film was interesting visually. You really just get an interesting visual intro, then you get that moment, but the rest of it, including the musical sequences, are shot so flatly. And it's like, why even have musical sequences if a lot of them are just saying the same things that are said in the movie already and shown in the movie, and they're not even done in an interesting way. And like I said, with Joaquin Phoenix's singing, which is most of the singing in the film, it sounds pretty bad. And just a little bit more about the themes. It's okay to have on-the-nose themes. I know some people use that as a criticism with a movie, but some movies I love, like Men, has on-the-nose themes. This, however, it doesn't explore its on-the-nose themes interestingly. Like, no joke, a lot of this commentates on the first Joker movie and the fan reception and maybe what some Psycho fans did. And they will literally say, the Joker movie impacted me this way, because they felt the need to have a TV movie in Joker 2 of the first movie. And it's like, what? Can't you do this in a much more interesting and less direct way? And speaking of being uninterested, literally Joker in this movie, Arthur Fleck, gets bored multiple times in the movie and like dozes off. And it's like, okay, he's getting bored. You acknowledge that this film is boring. You acknowledge this segment is boring, and you're still making us suffer through this. It even feels like that oneer I previously mentioned was just a way to wake up the audience, because in the whole thematic purpose of the film, it feels unnecessary, like so much of this film. So, whole things considered, I'd rate this a generous 4 out of 10. Honestly, it's a low 4 out of 10, closer to a 3, but keep talking about that little Wonders segment, and that was great. The performances are great. If you saw Joker 2, let me know what you think in the comments below. I have a bunch of movie reviews of new films, so check those out, and I'll see you later. Peace out. Bye.